Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to the A Link to the Past No Major Glitches League Season 2. Now we got a Light World Round 3 matchup between SuperNinTaylor and Yeroc. Two 2-0 players are going to face off here. And our commentator will be Misanthropic Buddha. Take it from here.
All right, thank you so much. And so, yes, once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the the second season, if you will, of our fantastic NMG tournament league here, as we are waiting for people to get started. Just give a quick rundown. As VXR has already mentioned, we do have two undefeated folk here in both Taylor and Yeroc. Of course, as at least from after speaking with them recently, that Taylor has a PB of a 127.08, and then Corey has a PB of a 126.08 that he actually just got, according to him. As the countdown begins, as now we wait, Taylor, of course, going with the I Love Pie, a classic player select, and Corey is running for H-Ilar Ias. There we go. Hilarious. Hilarious indeed. And welcome everyone who is joining us for, dang it, whatever you have going on your Friday. And we are off. Let the mashing begin, as Link is currently listening or hearing voices now that someone needs to rescue him. And we are almost off. Uncle about to leave the bodega. And we're off. And so, yeah. So this one right here is, of course, it's fairly simple. Nothing real surprising. We'll see how, as always, how some of the RNG will play out. But so far, simple showing here. Just maybe some light pumping in the bushes. I'm just being careful with the steps. Nothing too crazy. Of course, Uncle has fallen down and gone boom. And so, of course, instead of helping him, you're just going to go ahead and take a sword. And, Taylor, a little bit of trouble getting through the doorway there, but otherwise, not too much here as we're going, of course, very, very close to each other. Courtyard. Corey had a little bit of trouble getting through, but managed to get through with, with minimal time loss there. And so we are now going to approach the hallway. We'll see how the guard with the long sword, see what happens. And Corey had a little bit of trouble with one of the short sword guards too. The only reason I specified the size of the sword is just because, of course, the long sword guard can go after you. Both going for the spin and getting it. Hello, Matt. Checks. Thank you. Now making their way to the back, as always. And so, yeah, really not much here. Let's see, what other... In the 5 minutes of research I did beforehand, should also make a note, of course, that Taylor, of course, has a 114.56 in RMG All Dungeons. And, of course, Corey has a 21.55 in Master Sword. Alright, so let's hear Corey first in, gets the kill with the spin, and then gets the boomerang. Taylor went ahead for the slashes, but also got the boomerang with no problems. And now as we make our way into the back, be curious to see how they handle, of course, the guard. Whether they're going to do the slashes or just the pot and the slash. Corey first went in. Alright, slash. Taylor had to do a bit of a boom. Taylor also going for the slashes. And yep. No problems there. No damage taken. Both have the big key. Oh, Taylor, though, actually got the lamp before Zelda started yelling at him, so, that might be a game changer right there. There could be a game changer later on. It may not be a game changer at all. Just throwing that out there. Well, so now the the next little bit at least in my opinion, of I guess there would be some possible RNG, and obviously chat, looking at chat, who's just about everyone has plays the game better than I do. But again, be the hallway, going back to see how the guards present themselves and see if they have to walk around them or slash through or boom them or whatever the case may be. And then, of course, the back with the rats and the bats. Corey, first one into that hallway in the return there, has just to make a little bit of movement, a nice clean lane. Taylor, Taylor got boxed. That was weird. Taylor got boxed in, unfortunately, so he had to try to get himself positioned, but he got through it though. Didn't take damage. And thank you, Twin, for the GLs all around. Okay, so Corey, first one to the wall here. You just want to push it back just enough so that Link and Zelda can get through. And now you just have to be careful with how the rats are, and maybe having to deal with them, as you saw what happened to Taylor there. Unfortunately, but you tank it. It's a quarter hit with the rats, or quarter heart, half a heart, I believe, with the snakes, if I remember correctly. And it looked like Taylor got a decent snake pattern. I couldn't tell from Corey. No, unfortunately, yep. Corey took a bit of a hit there, but no big deal. Gave actually some Taylor a little bit of time to catch up. Now, of course, I say catch up, but we could have, again, for those of you who are not familiar, we may have approximately, 10 lead changes, but there's so much game and so much can happen. Corey, a little bit of trouble with the key rat, but Taylor had a much better opportunity to get, or cleaner opportunity to get it. And now both, though, are heading to the back. I've received an invite. Okay, and now finally, last screen. Unfortunately, no rat frames for either man because, well, there were no rats nearby. And we have escaped the back. It looks like both have achieved a sub-6. Yes, checks. That's exactly what it was. It was an invite for the Eastern Palace grand opening. I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, Corey gave the priest a quick hug and then got himself a sank heart. But out the door we go. So here again, there's excuse me. And so the path to Eastern, at least in this beginning part here, it's very kind of rudimentary, just very simple path. You start dealing with the RNG, as Corey's about to come up with. There's some RNG here with the Octorok field. Be curious to see. Unfortunately, had a little bit of trouble there, but Taylor did not have as many hiccups, so he was able to get through. So now, pretty much now very, very close to each other, screen for screen, or, screen for screen, obviously, but pretty much neck and neck, roughly in the same spot. And you kind of see here a little bit already some of the differences there regarding, how this field can be before even getting into Eastern Palace. Yeah, who else will be here at the grand opening? Let us find out tonight. Well, for me, it's tonight. It could be the day for some of you as well. Okay, so went through over those, and then the cannonballs. Okay, unfortunately, Taylor had to do one extra little wiggle because there was a cannonball on the left-hand side there, but not too bad. Corey went to grab a heart. Now both are going into Stavros. And unfortunately, so unfortunately, Corey did throw the pot on that first pot the wrong way, and unfortunately spawned all of them. So I had to take care of all of them there. So he'll be a little bit behind, but like I said, plenty of time to catch up. Of course, Taylor, you always want to stop in here and get yourself the arrows in preparation for the bow. Okay, Taylor, first one in the back. Corey had to boom out an enemy first before getting to the switch. Oh, and a 5-drop for Taylor, so that's nice. So now he's at 6. Corey's still sitting at 2, though. Not a huge worry. Nothing to really concern yourself with yet. Okay, so now in the back and take the D boost. You won't have to worry about hitting the or don't worry about getting rid of the anti-fairies, and get yourself a big key. Now, really, the only real issue in the big key or the big chest room is to see where that Stalfos will go. Hopefully, the Stalfos will essentially just get out of the way for both men. Taylor just had to do a little bit of a walk around, but nothing crazy there. And then, unfortunately, Corey also had a Stalfos get in his way. Taylor, right, pretty simple here. Taylor and Corey both give themselves the key without any issue there. From the Igor now into the back. So the cannonballs go for Taylor, no issue. And looks like Corey, same thing, no issue. ZGR. Okay, Taylor was able to make the most of it, and as Corey as well, so no real issues for either man. And then for the Red Igors, okay, nice and easy. So now a first boss. Let's see how well they can count to 18. Oh, and Taylor unfortunately got off or had an arrow go in the wrong direction. And so the problem there is that he had to use a few extra. As you saw with Corey, he didn't have to worry about that. And then if you manage to get them all in the pattern as they go along, you don't have to worry about using the extra 3 on the last on that last Armos. But, and just like that, pretty much, got through it. Some hiccups, but even though there were some hiccups, both managed to adjust nicely without, collapsing or like having any sort of real freakouts. I was able to get through it relatively well, and we're back kind of in sync again, which is always nice. All right, so now we're going to talk here to the old man. What's interesting is you can kind of see here with Corey is that you have the ability of, you don't have to actually touch him. You don't have to actually come in contact with him. You can just yell at him from across the room to actually, so you can actually get the boots a little bit earlier. And now we are going to attempt here some spin speed. Corey gets it no problem. Taylor gets it no problem. And so, of course, if you do the old spin speed on the stairs, you can easily go zoom across the rest of that overworld. Hello, Doom Tap. Okay, there was a... Jesus, what happened here? Thank you, Peter, and thank you for the helpa. Where did your VIP badge go? I don't know. I don't own this channel. Okay, so Corey's going to opt for spin speed. And he gets it. Taylor's just going to go... Oh, unfortunately, he bonked there, but just kind of go for a standard dash. No big deal. And both get the book. No problems. Now let's see if they get the spin speed coming off first try. Corey does. Taylor does as well. So, good. Because always that second one can be a bit tricky for some. Mainly myself. And now both get through the woods. And now, while in chat, Peter is desperately trying to find his VIP badge. It has been suggested that, according to Vortex, to check out Scoople's channel. Very good. So far, no real... I didn't see anything real crazy coming out of this overworld going into desert. Yep. No issues. And they both are now reading to a tablet, which causes the faces to move. Allows for an easy path. So now Corey, first one into Desert Palace here. And so, and at least for me, and I know I think I'm the only one who ever seems to ever worry about this way earlier than anyone else needs to, as a lot of people always tell me. This is where I usually want to take a quick peek at my rupee count. Taylor he's good to go with 26. Corey with 7 may want to get the fiver that's in the room before getting the glove. Okay, let's see how the pattern goes for... Oh, okay. Well, Corey unfortunately did have to get hit by the cannonballs, but managed a damage boost. Whereas Taylor having a little bit of problem with some of that pattern. But still, managed to get through it without taking any damage. Alright, so Corey now is going to approach the room before the big chest. Yep, he will get the fiver, just so he doesn't have to worry about... Oh, okay, unfortunately slid off the pot a little bit there, and accidentally double tapped the switch. But still currently maintains his lead, as both men get themselves the gauntlet, glove, whatever. Allows, of course, Link to pick up big rocks. Now, will either man attempt the spin speed down the stairs? Yes and yes, and both have done it very well. Of course, Doomtap, he knows. I don't remember the time. I believe that can save a few frames or can lose, like 6 minutes, something like that. I don't know. I'm just estimating. Okay, time for Popo Genocide. Gotta see how the pattern is here. For Corey was good, and for Taylor was good as well. Didn't have to go chase him, because that's sometimes the Popos will just start wandering around aimlessly. That's no good. $40 to $50. Okay, you should have just left it as $4 to $50. That would have been more accurate. But thank you, Doomtap. Sorry for the coughing. Now, everyone's favorite. Everyone loves a good Lammo. Now, I'm going to try my best to try to keep track of how many cycles for each, but I doubt that's happening. Though it looks like... Okay, I think Corey got the 3-cycle. And I'm guessing Taylor also got a 3-cycle? Well, yeah, I mean, judging by... They both finished, so... That's pretty good. So that's really good. Excellent Lambos all around. Okay, very good. So, yeah, those definitely Lambos, one of those spots that can definitely, one of the many spots that can kill runs. But at least it's still, they both did well, keeping this nice and competitive. So now the next big trick, the course that we're going to do here, is the old fake flipper. We'll see how both these men handle it. Oh, Corey took a bit of a love tap from two pickles, and now the crab wants in on this fun. Oh, okay, and then that's a little bit of a problem now for Corey here to see how he can handle that. He's going to go back, hit the bush again, and manages to get through. So definitely had quite a bit of problems there, and almost didn't get through either. But he managed. He survived. Yeah, a lot of dangerous spots. But he got through. Now, Taylor first one in to get the old man. Gonna sit here and tell stories. Now, of course, for those of you who are not familiar, you can't. You can run with the old man. You just won't go anywhere with any reasonable speed. So you have to walk. Shady Forest Games, thank you for that steamy hot raid. Appreciate it. Welcome in, Raiders. This is the NMG League race between SuperNinTaylor and Yeroc, and some X's at the end. So as they go through Death Mountain here, why is my favorite segment Hera? Chex Human, that is an excellent question, and the answer to that is that it's not. As you know, my favorite segment is Turtle Rock because I love the chomps. You should know that by now. And so, looked like Taylor had a little bit of trouble, though, getting through the cabbages, as Corey does manage to not have as much problems on Death Mountain, and both get through. I couldn't tell if Corey got the first quick warp, but I know he got the second one there. And then as Taylor got himself the small key, the Moldorm gave him a little love tap. Now Corey, of course, is in a dangerous spot. Oh, very nice with the boomerang as well. He's in a dangerous spot because all this stuff right now, all of it right now does a heart of damage, or at least the stuff that's coming up here. So gotta be careful. Has to be really, really careful. Oh, he does the boom and gets it. Oh, didn't get himself lodged in between the blue pegs, but he did get himself on the other side, which is, you know, almost as good. So that does save, of course, a little bit of time for Corey, because he doesn't have to worry about hitting the switch in the next room. But as you'll see with Taylor, unfortunately, he missed the pot to get that final tile. So he has to go up, hit the switch, and then go down. Whereas for Corey, he does not have any of those problems, so he can just go dash right and then dash down. And of course, the Moldorms could have caused some problems there, but they did not. And Taylor got the key, and Corey just 3-4 seconds behind him. So not too bad, not doing too bad here. So we have to take care of these idiots. Manages to get through with ease. Oh, well, both men did have a little bit of problems getting through there, but, you know, really didn't take any damage, which is always kind of a plus for me. Corey's going to opt to hit the switch to activate the area for the pots right before Moldorm. That allows him to get some extra hearts. And of course, the first big bomb jump of the game, and Taylor gets it with ease. Corey as well gets it, no problem. And it looks like on my end, and unfortunately on my end, everything kind of got a little, had to resync ourselves here. Taylor now is currently sitting in the middle of a Moldorm fight. As now Corey just got into it, but he just took a hit, so now he's at 1 heart. And so this is dangerous. As Taylor does in fact... Oh. Unfortunately... Yeah, unfortunately, Corey became victim to the Moldorm. I noticed he didn't try to get any hearts to try to make up some time there, but unfortunately, that's going to hurt. As Taylor did take care of Moldorm, and now he is making his way all the way over now to get the Master Sword and then the Agate Tower. But again, as I've said many times, and as a lot of you who are familiar with this game know, that this doesn't mean that it's over. There's plenty of other opportunities for even what looks to be like a huge lead for Taylor, it can be taken away very quickly. All right, so Taylor managed to get through. So he's going to start doing his tree pull so he can get himself the requisite number of rupees before heading into Dark World. While Corey is going to go ahead and win round 2 of Moldorm. And so far, so good. And gets him. Excellent. Well done. Now, for Taylor, just going over here, as you may notice, he was... he pulled that first tree, and then he's got to go ahead and kill X number of enemies so we can move the rupee, the types of rupees to the correct color. Because what he's looking for is that you start with the blue rupees, then you have to kill, I always forget how many, I think it's at least, is it 3 or I think it's 3 without getting hit. And then for the second tree pull, then you get the red rupees, which gives you the right amount that you need. It's 4 without getting hit. Thank you. You gotta get 4 without getting... You kill 4 enemies without getting hit, and then you can go ahead and get the red rupees. And also, thank you, DoomTap, for letting me know that this is about a little over a minute difference. Carnival, yeah, this is just... this is vanilla. Yep, this is the original game. They're doing right now no major glitches, any %. And as you see with Taylor, pulls a tree, get himself all the rupees, and of course can save a little bit of time there by not having to worry about getting the 4th red one, because you only need 104 going into Aga Tower. Okay, and then yeah, and now Corey's got himself the Master Sword, while Taylor is about to make his way into Aga Tower. Now, even though he has the requisite number of rupees, it is preferential that you, well, as always, you don't ever really want to get hit, but you really don't want to get hit going in here, because it's, especially for the first couple of rooms, having beams is definitely a faster than trying to do this without, and also less wasting resources as well. So Taylor goes through the first room easily. He gets to the second room as well, and does the fairy skip, as now Corey gets himself some red rupees as well. So now both men are good on the rupee count. As now Taylor gets himself a chest turn. Blanks W in chat. Trying to get the the guards. The guards wanted to have some fun with them in the dark. Now Corey's finally going to get into here. Okay. I always forget which room that is that Taylor's in, if that's Despair or the other one. But gets through all the way to the top now with no issues. 2 rooms away from Circle of Pots, because everyone loves Circle of Pots. Okay, and gets through the red guards. Circle of Pots. Okay, good adjustment. He'll give himself a small key and not hit the other red guard. As now Corey is just making his way, is 3 rooms into Aga Tower. As Taylor's just finishing up. Corey took a hit there from the bat, but it only does 1/4 heart damage, so no big deal there. He still have his beams. And now, of course, the dreaded run, well, one of the many, but really the dreaded run killer. The one where, you could have a perfect run going in, you could have done everything right, and then you come across to this idiot. Corey, though, having some trouble getting up the stairs, but did manage to get through. So while he continues up his path, and so as you see here, part of the downside of having beams is that you have to, or losing beams, that you have to start using arrows. And I think Taylor right now, what is he on? Is it 2 blue balls? Okay. Yeah, so really the dreaded number, as Corey's making some good time here, making his way up through. Only a couple rooms to go for him as well. Now, really for Taylor, okay, that's exactly what you don't want. Yeah, the dreaded number is usually 3, because if you hit 3 blue balls, then that means you're stuck with at least a second lightning cycle, which is never good. And Vortex, probably not. Okay. So let's see here. Last one for Taylor? Nope, he's sitting at 5. Can we make it 6? Nope, 5 it is. Okay, so 5 blue balls for Taylor. Now, really, let's see if Aga will be nice for Corey and help make up some time here. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, Taylor is currently just, mashing away at that pyramid as Doomtap is ungo bunging and chap. Doomed to caveman. One. Okay. So, there we go. So 1 blue ball. So that definitely has saved quite a bit of time. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say 20 or 30 seconds or so of time has just been saved by having to only get 1 blue ball versus whatever it was, 5 for Taylor. But either way, as now Corey's finishing up with going through the cutscene, Taylor is now making it. So the reason you needed 110 rupees was for this lad right here, for Kiki. You need to get 10, so he'll follow you to the pyramid or to Palace of Darkness, and then you ask for another 100 just so he can jump on a statue to get the other switch. Quite a big scam, almost as big of a scam as Zora. And now Taylor, first one in. And thank you, Dempsey, for confirming that it was 5. Now, even though I think for both runners, making this overworld look easy, it's very dangerous, mainly because everything a lot. Mostly, murder dactyls and other wonderful little things. Now, I missed it earlier, but I didn't notice. I noticed that Taylor did take, or I didn't notice that Taylor did take a heart of damage. That's not great, but not the end of the world. You want to try to have as many hearts, because for later, when you have to do a heart refill, and you can lose some time as you try to get more hearts. You'll see later when they get to post hammer jump. Taylor now gonna get himself a big key. All right. As Corey is just about to get his second small key. Now, of course, the very big, one of those bigger tricks that especially is what seems almost impossible for when new runners start out. Well, I guess I'm talking about myself mainly, is the old hammer jump here. It's going to take both bombs. So, double pixel perfect. Got him get himself the first position right. Then got him himself second position right. And then if all is correct, you go through the barrier and you get yourself a hammer. Taylor, though, does it with perfection and is able to make his way through, get himself one more small key, and now he gets to head to the back. Well, Corey now is going to attempt, hopefully do the same thing. Dow, Taylor had 5, Corey had 1. Now, let's see if Corey can do the same here. He will leave the other one behind. Having a little bit of problems getting to that second position there. And unfortunately, he fell entirely, so that's no good. So you have to step out, go back into the room. And now this can be a bit concerning as well, because now he's stuck with one less bomb, but there are other places where you can make that up, because, bomb count is important. Taylor, what I missed earlier was that you really want to have full hearts coming into this room here before hitting the Igor statue, so you can have beams. And also in general for the back, having beams is way more preferential. But as you get into Sexy Statue Room, you'll notice that as Corey will notice, you got to pick up hearts. And so you do lose some time the more hearts you got to pick up on the left-hand side. As Taylor has a bit of an issue there with the Turtle Party. As you can see with Corey, that's what I'm saying there. He had to actually pick up all 3 pots. And now for Taylor, he's going to head into Helma. Now, of course, I don't know how long it's been. So now, Taylor, though, looks like he got it. Is that when you do spin speed, it makes the fight for Helma a lot easier. And 4 hammer hits, and that is that. So, done deal for Taylor. Whereas now Corey is making his way into the back. He's about to come across the old Turtle Party. Unfortunately, a bit of an issue for him as well. And also, too, what's important to note is him taking that heart of damage. What makes that a little concerning is the fact that for Corey, he no longer gets 4 hits against Helma. He only has 3 now, because Helma's sword does 2 hearts of damage. This goes, though. So Corey looks like he gets the spin speed. Yep. So I don't remember the actual rationale behind it, but I know it makes Helma's hitbox, it feels anyway, a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, have a little bit of problem with the. Okay, this is dangerous. This is very dangerous, and that's why. And so that was the big thing with, like I said. Okay, yeah, it gives us the hammer, that. Okay. And unfortunately, that was the danger of having that just one less heart. That one extra hit could have helped. But now, and unfortunately, this is one of those longer ones too, where you have to go all the way back. And has to go through, do this whole back part again. And so, yeah, that is very, very unfortunate. But as long as he keeps going, but hopefully, we'll just have to see what happens. Meanwhile, though, Taylor has got his way through the overworld and is going to go get himself a flute. Well, sorry, not a flute. You got to get yourself a shovel first. Then you go for the shovel. Then switch to mirror. Then a quick warp. Then get the flute. There you go. Now you got the flute. Such a process. All right, back to Turtle Party for Corey. Okay. A much nicer Turtle Party this time. Poor Blunt, never having any Viddy energy. All right, here we go, the rematch. Full set of hearts and a dream. And of course, what didn't help Corey either was the fact that I believe every time he had to deal with fireballs. Okay, well, so far, not that time. Managed to get good. And good. Done and done. So Corey did manage to survive. As now Taylor has activated the flute. So he gets even get past 3 Musketeers. And he does. And now we're going to make him way to the portal. So we can go to Dark World. To go into Thieves Town. And gets the quick warp. Oh, bonk there. Ooh, got himself a fairy as well. Very nice. Okay, so as Taylor goes into Thieves Town here, so for Thieves Town itself, I'm trying to think how to describe this. It's really, a lot of it is, really, I mean, Hellway is really what it's most known for. I mean, unfortunately, all the horse heads can have a bit of rando pattern to them, so that they can be troublesome at times, but yeah, I think that I was trying to say, is that Thieves Town, for the most part, can be a consistent split, consistent dungeon. It's mostly it's Hellway, at least in my opinion, in terms of, you know, RNG and stuff to concern yourself with. But even then, you practice it enough, you should be able to handle, you know, most patterns presented to you. Oh, unfortunately, Taylor, though, did try to cut that spike a little too short. And unfortunately for Taylor, the Hellway path was not clear, did not get the good pixel, so he had to, you know, get his way through. But he still managed to get through. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely the overworld is trickier and more difficult than the dungeon itself, yeah. And so Taylor now making his way up top. Now, of course, for those of you who have not played Link to the Past, you do actually, even though it just seemed like nothing, that he just bombed a hole for no reason, that was actually very important, because if you don't, you can't fight blind. And so now the flute being activated for Corey, who gets a minute to kind of rest, stretch his fingers. I shouldn't crack my knuckles directly into the microphone. Now Taylor's making his way to get himself a maiden. But it's important, of course, don't forget that small key before you go. Because now you have to go back here to the big chest to grab yourself a Titan's Mitt. I mean, to be fair, blunt, that the world will never know the answer to that. Yes, twin. Because sometimes I have to air it out and put on a different one. Okay, so as Taylor now first comes across blind, as we all know, it is a scripted fight. Who dies to blind? No one dies to blind. Yada yada yada. And very simple. Good work for Taylor. And, of course, Spleeby has to now let out all my secrets that, of course, it isn't actually a mask. Yes, it is my face. Where's Corey? Corey, though, making himself a good time here. So far, so good. I had a little bit of trouble trying to miss the key dash there, but is going through the dungeon pretty well. And now we'll see how he handles. All right, he's got a clear path. Unfortunately, did not get the pixel, but still, well, for the most part, had a clear path, minus that one anti-fairy at the end. I see Twin Mo is trying to threaten me with violence. So as Corey makes his way to the top to bomb the attic, you see Taylor putting a hole into the brewery because he's going to go steal some money. Not quite sure why, though, as you only need 10 rupees to get the sword, Kappa. And so he's going to go talk to a frog. Taylor talks to a frog and is going to send him home. As Corey makes his way from the attic back down, making his way down to the pits to go rescue the maiden, in quotes. So yeah, what you do for the Get Tempered is you go ahead, you walk out the door, walk back in. Corey having a little bit of trouble with the red horse. And you pay him, you give the breadsmith $10. You come back, one screen later, you get yourself a beautiful carrot or Cheeto-like sword. Taylor going for the spin speed. Now, the question here is, do we get Fence Dash? Do we get Fence Dash? No. We do not get Fence Dash. There was an attempt, but unfortunately, the run is now invalid. So, let's see how this goes for Corey. Unfortunately for Corey, he has 4 hearts. But obviously still manageable. You just have to be a little careful because blind's heads do 2 hearts. The balls do 1, as I've just warned, and unfortunately, he was a victim to blind. And I think, well, on my end anyway, I need to switch audio here. And so unfortunately from my end there, I think that might have been the end. Yeah, very understandable. Very, very understandable. And now Taylor. It is what it is. I mean, this, yep. Away she goes indeed. It's a rough game. Yeah, we've all absolutely have had those runs. Or, you know, and still trying to finish it out, and just one thing compounds with another thing, compounds with another thing. And then unfortunately, you know, it's demoralizing. It sucks. It just sucks. And so it is what it is. I give credits, though. I give credit. You know, Blunt's not wrong. I do give credit, though, for that. Also, Malmo with a good point there. Give credit for Corey for trying to stick it out the best he could. For getting through that, managing to push through everything. But yeah, I guess, and right, understandably so, it was kind of the end there. So Taylor now. Taylor, meanwhile, not in a great spot. I know he took some extra hits there while getting the fire rod and having some problems there. So now, unfortunately, he's only sitting at 3 hearts. So this could be a bit of an issue. Good reaction time to avoid the snake there. Yeah, and also, I guess I'll comment on that since Malmo brought it up, as Taylor gets through the back here. The problem, as we always say about blind being a scripted fight, it's only a scripted fight for the first attempt. Afterwards, it's very, very difficult to try to do because then it is very much a random RNG nightmare. So, yeah, it's understandable if you don't want to try to do the blind refight. Or to refight blind, I should say. Okay, Taylor, though, got himself a double poke, got himself good slashes, and Macula, she managed to stay away from the... the spikes, and yeah, got herself a quick kill. So, good on Taylor. Thank you, DoomTap, for the more unga-ing. Or the bunga-ing, I'm not quite sure. Yep, there you go. Proper cavemaning. So now we just, mash to victory here. Okay. And we will continue on. So, of course, a fun split for everybody. Ice Palace. So Ice Palace, though, it's not just simply we have to travel there. Yeah, ice is fun when you don't mess up. There you go. There you go. There's a quote. There's definitely a quote right there. So for this one here, there's a little bit of work to do on the front end, pre Ice Palace, and that is we have to take a trip all the way, almost to like I don't know, the opposite side of the map, pretty much. Oh, alright, got through all those. Because we have to take a trip up here, well, for a couple things. One, Catfish is holding a medallion that we're going to need for later. And also, we have to go into Zora's domain. So that's part of the reason, too, you want to make sure, or you noticed how both runners went and stopped what appeared to be kind of seemingly out of the way to grab those 300 rupee chests, because you need 500 to get the flippers. Alright, so Quake has been obtained from the fish, and now back here we go. Definitely in terms of optimizing movement here, one of the most difficult areas. Really, just for most, it's, don't fall in the deep blue. Don't fall in the deep blue, don't get hit. If you do, if those two things happen, as long as one of those things happen and one of the things don't happen, you're good to go. And he got through without taking damage. So now Zora's going to give you, or make a deal with you, 500 rupees for some finger webs. And now he can swim. And so, Ryan gets out. And now, trying to get into the portal here can be a bit tricky because those Zoras are random. But what's nice about that, even though I said before you have to go to the other side of the map, the portal does pretty much send you literally almost, pretty much right in front of Ice Palace. Okay, so get through the first room. So you handle this room here. And this is one of the reasons, too, you kind of want to have beams here, because with beams, the big thing is that it allows you to get rid of the jellies with the beams, even when they're flashing. Because if they are, otherwise, when they're flashing, you can't hit them with the sword normally, and you would take damage. Flavy, unfortunately, yeah. The Moldorm Helma blind deaths kind of ended it, so. truly the trifecta. Alright, gets through bombable floor for Taylor. And now see if we can get the big Stalfos. Did take damage, but he did manage to get them both with one bomb, so that's always good. What's not good is the fact that he is down, well, about to be down 5 hearts. Well, hopefully only 5. Let's see. No, unfortunately, he was a pixel. It looked to be a pixel off. I couldn't tell on my end. But now he's got to reposition himself. Try attempt 2. He looks to be okay. Yep. Now 3 hearts is really dangerous. Just because of... or sorry, 4 hearts. But even then, he is still in a very bad position of... Oh, good penguin lineup room. But he's in a bad position now for the... for Cold Stare. And of course he did take the damage. Saves a little bit of time taking damage and walking through the big ball. Because the only worrisome thing here is the fact that, of course... Cold Stare has really, there's 2 things you gotta worry about. Cold Stare itself, and then the little ice blocks that drop down too. Now the ice blocks themselves do 2 hearts of damage, whereas Cold Stare does 4. So, very precarious, but we'll see how well he can manage this. So you do have to, of course, break his shell. That was close right there. And he swung or spun a little too early and couldn't get the spin. And unfortunately, he has died. Now, I'm curious to see what he does here. And, yeah, okay. So, oh, going back in. Nope, that was a mistake. So, usually, if you happen to die at Ice Palace, that's really a big time loss because you can see there, no magic. And you have to go through that whole thing again where you have to, you know, do the bomb jump, do everything else. And really the big thing is to have magic. And there's no easy locations to get a full magic refill in Ice Palace, at least that I can think of. So I think what it's looking like right now is usually the backup is to... Oh, having some trouble here on Death Mountain. Is to go ahead and... go to, well, gonna trying to find. I think he was trying to, as pink guy got yeeted, trying to look for a fairy. He's gonna go ahead and make his way to Swamp. So what we do here is he is taking the trip down to get himself ether. So now he's got the medallions, no bombos, unfortunately, no bombos required. At least in this category. And yep. Try to see if hopefully he can get some other stuff there, but got nothing. So yeah, he's gonna go make his way to Swamp. Yeah, that's what you guys are saying in chat. There's no magic refills, or like I said, easy ones to get at, and so it's just, it really is a pain. And so now you have to remember, so you can go through Swamp normally, because you don't need magic for Swamp. But then, unfortunately, you'll have to double back, go back to Ice Palace, and take care of Cold Stare. But the reason, for those of you who are not familiar, if you're wondering why bailing entirely, is that, remember, whenever you clear a boss, you clear a dungeon, not only do you get your hearts refilled, you also get a magic refill. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. Okay. Good opening there through that first room. Now, I think Swamp Palace, I believe, someone can correct me on this, but I believe in general, at least in NMG, this is one of the longer dungeons, I believe. I believe it's the longest. But again, what's kind of, well, I don't know if nice is the word, but at least it is straightforward. It is more of a matter of execution than having to worry about, unless, without having to worry about RNG too much. Okay, it's the longest unless you do boomer shopping. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was the case. So, of course, what makes this thing long is, so that was the center room. You just have to get the key and go up. That's into the next portion. But here, you start on the right-hand side, you have to go all the way left, then you got to come all the way back to the middle, and then you can get through the next part. So it's just, convoluted dungeon nonsense. As is tradition, of course. So now, Taylor, see here. Okay, we got ourselves the switch, no problem. And the red jelly was kind enough to move out of the way. Because otherwise, if he was flashing, then he would have to wait for him. Or wait for the jelly to stop flashing. Or, I guess also tank damage, another possibility. Oh, having a little bit of trouble there, but managed to get through it. Took a few hits of damage there. Was unfortunately had a little bit of trouble with the fireball. And the blue jelly wasn't playing any favors either, unfortunately. So make him up here, the old sociable firebar. Gets through, no problem. Hammer dash? Hammer dash. Okay. So now go through, get yourself a big key. So like I said, now you gotta go all the way back to the middle. But what is nice though, he's gonna give himself definitely one of the better items in the game. Oh, well, stuff I was had a surprise from. So got himself a hook shot. Now hook over, and then if he stays in line, he doesn't have to. He can actually just hook directly to that skull to pick up the key. Usually, a lot of people, you do have to kind of, if you try to use the hook shot and you're not in that correct position, you'll tink off of the sides. Now you may not be able to tell, but he did have to do a hook dash there. And what that allows for you is it allows for him to pick up, or allows for Link to pick up the rock without having to worry about the statue. And sorry, no diver down here. So now going into, what is that? Don't worry about it. So now going to Phelps' Way here. Let's see if he can manage to avoid taking damage. Wow. Well, he did. Got out of water to do it, but he did it. Okay, let's see what strat he does here for... Trying to go for zero cycle. Bit of a rocky start. But he gets it. Oh, no, he didn't. He got the invisible one cycle. Oh, no. Runs over. Alright, so now he'll switch to... Yep, Fire Rod. Fire Rod. Oh, but he forgot that he was out of magic. I think he was trying Fire Rod, spin. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just trying for the Fire Rod and then get at least one spin. But either way, managed to adjust. Got through it. What's done is done. So he cleared Swamp. But now you have to remember, though, he does have to go back through and wrap up ice. And of course, too, this is the longest cutscene. So as we wait... Alright. Sorry, I'll leave a side message there. So now... It says now he's making his way back. Excuse me. Don't know what's wrong with me today, but anyway, sorry for all that coughing. But yeah, so now you look very familiar, but at least this time, though, you know, it doesn't have to worry about the keys, but does have to worry about doing the bomb jump again. But this time, though, you know, be good to go with the old... Be good to go with magic. It's also an annoying thing, too, that you do need to use all of your magic to break the ice shell that Cold Stare is in. Now, there's tricks that you don't have to use as much magic if you have, you know, sword beams, but that's just, you know, more of a pain than anything else. Now, yeah, gonna grab himself some extra bombs. Sure. Oh, took damage there because of the conveyor. I don't think he probably didn't want to do that, but he is gonna stop grabbing those arrows as well. Okay. So here we are. We're back here again. All right, no problem. Got it right the first time. So now again, another good penguin lineup. Take the damage, go through it. Got through Lonely Firebar very well. And so now, yep, moving that. All right, here we go, round 2. So let's see how this goes. Okay. Yep. And, yep, just one more slash, and that's it. Unfortunately, a little sloppy at the end there. Well, one of the Cold Stares got away, unfortunately, but did manage to get through, didn't die. That's all that matters. So, there we go. So now, of course, he goes through this, and now I believe you make. So now that so normally you do Ice Palace, then you go to Swamp, then you go to Mire, but it did Swamp. Then now he's finished Ice. I believe he'll now be making his way over to Misery Mire. Okay, there we go. So now, it is important, though, in order to set up for Spooky, you do have to, of course, hit the pattern from the bottom there, or have to go or lift the pot from underneath. Do have to watch out for the Murder-Dactyl and the Fireball, because you don't really want to get hit here either. And so now, make our way down into Mire. Mire, in general, well, let's see how this goes here. Oh, good Mire 2 there. Usually it's a good Mire 2 if you can get all the enemies, mainly the Wizrobes, in one cycle. So you don't have to wait those extra, what feels like forever, but like 4 or 5 seconds for the Wizrobes to come back. But this one, again, I believe this is the shortest split, at least for Dark World. And I don't think I finished my comment earlier. The whole reason you want to make sure you pick up the pot from the bottom is so you can set yourself up for the spooky action glitch that hopefully we'll see later. Oh, unfortunately, a little bit of problem there, but the slug was not cooperating at all. Now it gets through all the torches. And so now we wait. Then get yourself a big key. And so, like I said, really not much here. Just to see how, if he'll have the opportunity for Snake Gamble coming up. And, or Spark Gamble, what the hell am I saying? And yeah, so that's what it was there. That was good. Because you have the chance to actually, when you take the hit, you can actually phase through going forward. A little bonk there, but no big deal. Didn't take damage from the laser eyes or from the floor. Got himself the red cane. So now you eat all this damage while getting that key. And I'm about to make its way downstairs. So this is now where kind of the spooky action glitch can come into play here. So we'll have to happen first, though, is that you'll have to have the see if he does this correctly. What has to happen is you start a dash and then afterwards hit the switch like that, or use the red cane like so. And then, if all of that has done right, then what should happen here is when he uses the fire rod, he's going to aim at this spike. Now, hopefully you heard that. You heard that click. There's a switch that's up the northern part of this room. And so by doing that, by doing the whole spooky action glitch, as also you see here, is that you hit the switch that's essentially in the other portion of the room, or in another part of the room, and it allows him to hit that without having to do any extra work. Now, unfortunately, he ran out of magic, so he wasn't able to do it for the third one. Okay, so now we're making our way into Vitreous. So with Vitreous here, kind of this what looks to be kind of like the weird wobbling around it. It's actually a bit of a dance that you do, and that was a good 0 cycle there, and gets the kill. You're doing a little dance to where you're essentially taking damage from the goo, and so by taking damage from the goo, you get invincibility frames that allows you to spin through all the tiny eyes. Because you want to do that, because the goo only does 1 heart of damage. The eyes, on the other hand, do 4. So, that's very imperative if you want to try to get through that quickly. Now, this right here is one of the shorter cutscenes. And while I take this moment here, as he's finishing this up, hopefully all of you are doing well in chat. Now, before, though, Taylor makes his way up to Total Rock, he does have to take one more pit stop. And that is, he's got to make his way up into this cave here to get himself the ice rod. Now, unfortunately, this is... You have to go out of the way to get this one item for literally one purpose. Annoying, but unfortunate necessity. So, ice rod has been retrieved. Now we'll make his way for one last trek up Death Mountain. Okay, so as always, gotta watch out for dead rocks, gotta watch out for boulders. But at least by having the... As I said, you gotta watch out for boulders. But again, by having the hook shot, though, it does allow for easier spin speed attempts. Of course, you need the hook shot so you can hook over that portion of the bridge. You know, I didn't know, regarding that one bridge when you hook over on Death Mountain, I didn't know for the longest time that you could fall into it. I realized that I had fallen into it, or I fell into it once while doing a rando seed, and I didn't realize it. Like, it just completely... I was baffled. But now, as he is finishing up through the overworld here, man, it did pretty... Well, right until the end there. Did pretty well. But yeah, it switched to the right medallion. I don't know. I thought it was just kind of for the longest time, I just thought it was an invisible wall because I'd never fallen into it. I'd always just hook shot it over. That's all. I not realize it. And then, yeah, I just fell in the hole and I was just baffled. So now, in here, this place is very tricky. Because you're so far deep and the game is kind of expecting you to have blue mail at this point. Everything hurts. Yeah, Malmo, I think that's what it was for me. Because I was not used to seeing that at all at any other point, so I was just confused, me falling into a pit in the overworld. Alright, got through the roller room, but has opted to mirror out instead of taking the damage. Not a bad idea. So now we're about to come up to, of course, as anyone who has listened to me do commentary, my favorite. My favorite room in the whole game. But first, Pokey Zero gets the double spin, gets a heart and a key. And so usually this is where so my favorite room, of course, as everyone knows, is Chomps. I love Chomps so much. As you can see, Taylor demonstrating why I love Chomps so much. And there we go. I love it. It was great, fantastic. As I've always found Chomps to be necessary in the game for solely that one room. And it can go bleep itself. Now, probably will pick up the arrows here in order to make his way to get the big key. So you got to get through all this room here with the pokies. Okay, and yeah, so at this point as well, you notice that fairy there. As a reminder, one of the reasons you actually, do the double, while you do that dash all the way back in the second room of Aga Tower, was to avoid progressing the prize pack, to possibly get the fairy a little too early. But instead, you get the fairy now in admittedly a much more ideal position. Alright, so now final set of pokies. Got a halfway decent pattern, and he managed to avoid that 8 drop. And so the other thing too is ideally you don't want to have a lot of bombs at this point. Now what's nice about beams is that it does make this room faster. As you can see, you can just use the beams to simply hit the switch, as opposed to if you didn't have beams, you would have to use Cane of Samaria to drop a couple red blocks. And then also you would have to wait for those blocks. When you detonate the blocks, you have to wait for the blocks to travel. And I believe that beam is slower than your sword beam. Now, definitely coming up to, especially for newer runners, one of the scarier skips is laser skip. Where yes, you do have the ability to just straight up skip past the laser. And you can see there, no damage. Which is really important though, because, you know, it again does 4 hearts of damage. Okay. And so now, as Taylor makes his way into the last boss here of the dungeons, of course, here we go, as you can see there. That was what you needed to use the ice rod for. He no longer needs it for the rest of the game. And gets through at least the first 2 heads of Trinex, and does it fast enough to where you only got the 1 cycle, which is good. Now let's see if you can get the double spin. He does. Done and done. That's it. So if you get that double spin at the beginning, it means you don't have to worry about doing it. You only have to do 1 extra slash at the end as opposed to doing several. As Malmo and Chex are having this conversation about jumping into pits, but jumping into pits in such a way that you break the fabric of time and space and reality. Okay, so now into the final dungeon, Ganon's Tower. You get all the crystals, have access, the seizure warning. Very brief, I know. Now with GT, you don't have to worry about going to the right side. Everything is going to be done left. It's going to skip the torch key, assuming to opt for the one up at the very top, right before Moldorm. Oh, good work dodging that bone. So this right here is a lot of, throwing a boomerang, using the hook shot, trying to be as, tight with your movement as possible here. Nope, took a couple hearts of damage though, so that's not good. And so yeah, just get through all the portals. Fortunately, he did avoid the rando room. That's always good. And doesn't touch the portal. Also nice. So of course, because this is the final dungeon, we now begin the slew of refights. Yep, I'm gonna give himself the arrows before going down. So the first refight is Armos. This time, Armos on Ice. The great holiday musical that's coming up. You know, it is the holiday season. You know, so make sure don't take your family to go see Armos on Ice. It's a fantastic show. But as you can see, Taylor making it look easy. Get himself a big key, and then he got that chest of arrows above, so it doesn't have to take the time to get the chest of arrows on that top left of the big key room. Making his way to the top here. Oh. Damage boost through the spikes. Now, of course, you do have to, if you're playing this casually, you would have to be a little bit careful with the mimics here, because the red mimics only get damaged only by arrows. And so I remember, you know, the very first time I had played through this casually and having to leave because I didn't have enough arrows. And then proceeding to waste my magic trying to use everything else in my inventory. Oh, try to get the dash. Unfortunately, didn't get it, but he didn't fall, so that's always good. That's almost the thing. If you happen to miss like that, it usually almost seems like the consequence of that was that you were going to fall, but managed to get through fine. Time to go through what we affectionately call the gauntlet. Just various rooms of get rid of all the enemies while dealing with lasers, conveyors, and spikes, and ice. Just a real bother. As I sometimes think of very Mario Maker-esque type levels. Or type floors here. Rooms. True checks did get the upslash. Okay, got through it. Not questionable with the health, but I feel like I've said that a lot. Second refight. The old Lambos here. Unfortunately, having a bit of problems because I think the fireball was getting in his way, and the patterns weren't as hospitable as he was hoping for. And at the same time, you may notice that he's not trying to use all his fire rod shots. You do have to be careful at this point regarding your magic. You just have to be careful with how much magic you use, because you're going to be using quite a bit of magic in these last few rooms. For example, up here, use that to easily get rid of all 3 Wizrobes. And as you'll see, you're going to do that again to get rid of another 3 almost simultaneously. As shown. Stop to get a heart. And then also what you'll need the magic for are for these next 2 rooms, or the next few rooms regarding the torches. Because you have to light all the torches in the room for the door to open. Now, of course, what makes this more fun... Wow, okay, that was close. But of course, what's more fun about the whole thing here is that you are, in fact, on a timer. So you do have to be careful with that. It's nice that they have a full magic refill waiting for you there. And then here you go. Once again, you need magic for this room here for the torches to get through here. So he has 4 hearts remaining. But so far, so good. Now, so to not have to do, or not have to get that torch key, you get the top one here, because that torch key is definitely a slower key to get. Like, this is the faster option. Wait a minute. Are we hovering to save the run? He hovered to save the run. Unbelievable. Inconceivable. In a race. In the tournament. Doing it for the fans, ladies and gentlemen. He hovered to save the run. First try as well. Alright. Now. Again, the last refight. Aga 2. This time, there's not one, but there's 3. So the good news, if it is good news, is that his 2 ghosts or clones, whatever you want to call them, will always generate the regular balls, whereas Aga does have the chance to, or does still have a possibility of shooting blue balls, like the ones that you can't use, and get himself a 3 cycle. That is correct. Yep, everything on the line for that race hover. And so I said this earlier, but now once again, but this isn't as bad as if he were to die, say at Aga 2 or before Aga 2, because trying to climb up Ganon's tower, you know, is definitely more bothersome than what we're about to see here. That if he unfortunately dies here to Ganon, then at least you just have to start the fight over, as opposed to going through GT. And that might have been intentional, just so he isn't stuck at a constant one-hit KO. Not entirely sure, but either way, that's fine. So now, do it all over again. Alright, so 12 hits. 8. Unfortunately, he didn't get the 12. He only got 11 there. So that was 12. So now that phase 2. Didn't know if that counted. That's definitely counted. That's 4. That's 8. That looks like 12. If I did my math right. And now, yep. And so now the fun, the wee. These are all random. And then if he stops, you slash him. Then he jumps up and down, removes some tiles. Do this a total of 4 times. And then we get to the final phase. Let's see how this goes. Nope, another warp. Another warp. Not bad with the warps. Not bad with the warps. Okay, so now here we go. First bit is to do torch glitch. So by lighting that torch, just as it goes out, it will make sure that that one on the right never goes out. So it allows you to use more fire rod shots to help keep the torch lit, because normally in the game, you would actually need to use silver arrows. You know, that's kind of the intentional thing. But you could, if you time it just right to where as Ganon warps and spins, it actually counts as a hit. Otherwise, if you were to try to hit him normally, he just freezes and turns blue, which, you know, doesn't do any damage. But for here, though, since we do have this ability to do so, 12 spins to win, and that is it. So, ladies and gentlemen in chat, please have your GGs ready for one Taylor or SuperNinTaylor manages to get himself in to the big room, and with a time of 1:3:2:04, SuperNinTaylor wins the race. GG's all around. GG's in chat. Where's it? Oh, yeah, there we go. GG's. So congratulations, SuperNinTaylor, on winning the race. And of course, as well, also commending Taylor for also sticking through it, because dying at Cold Stare and then having to do all that running around is a daunting task, but it was done. All right. Oops, clicked the wrong button there. All right, cool. So excellent. So it was so definitely this is one of those things that, especially for those people who are not used to seeing NMG or Link to the Past NMG, or the speedrun in general, a roller coaster of emotions. You can see how things can derail very quickly with just slight mistakes, and I'm sure that's true and really in reality that's true for any speedrun. But just talking about this particular community, yeah, it's definitely can be a rough go at times, but Taylor did manage to stick it out, so he will continue his winning. He will continue his streak. He's now 3-0, whereas of course Corey will move down to 2-1. But either way, good race all around. And yeah, I guess for me, as we let the credits roll here, I do know, just because I'm doing it next, there, I believe, are some more races for NMG Part 2 coming up. But I don't know if our host would like to talk about that, because I also don't have it readily available. But either way, as we're wrapping this up, thank you so much for everyone who has stayed around, and for both runners. Really, this race a very, very rough go for both involved. But yeah, I will give it back to VXR.
Well, SuperNinTaylor is available for an interview, so I think we're just waiting on that.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that in the Discord machine here.
Yeah, it was the race room.
Okay. I'm looking in the wrong spots. But, okay. Well then, well, thank you for letting me know. So yeah, we will, if Taylor would like to join in for a couple quick questions here. But otherwise, yeah, as always, thank you for people who are staying around too. And I just heard a bip, and I am now joined. I gotta mute this. I am now joined by Taylor. Taylor, GG's, congratulations on winning the race.
Thank you.
Yes, and so I guess just thinking about the race there, were you watching the race at all?
I had it on the side. I try not to look at it too much. Every once in a while, I'll look over. If I look too much, it kind of distracts me. That's what I found. My last race is I was making stupid, small movement mistakes as I was looking over.
Understandable. And so, at some point, though, were you aware that you were the last man standing today?
Oh yeah, I saw right when his screen went black and didn't come back. I
Right.
saw I think at least 2 red screens over there. And I was like, he's
Yeah.
having a rough go at it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Moldorm, Helma, and Blind decided to
Blind.
give him hugs, which, as you know, that puts a damper on any day.
Hugs are not friendly in this game.
Absolutely not. And then, of course, for you though, had the unfortunately had that very untimely death at Cold Stare, but you did manage to stick through it and get through, of course, to finish it up though, so that was good. But I mean, obviously, given your PB, what your PB is versus your performance here, but I mean, how do you feel though, just all in all, given everything that has happened?
I think for the first half, I was feeling all right. I mean, I was making little mistakes here and there. At the very start of the run, I don't know what it was, but my D-pad didn't feel right. Something was going on, and I kept making weird movement errors, but I kind of got used to it after the first 10 minutes. And I felt like I was doing all right for quite a while there. And then after the Cold Stare death, just everything kind of fell apart.
Right.
Mistakes everywhere.
Yeah, but also from what you're saying though, getting into a fight with the rubbers of your D-pad, it's always almost it seems like 75% of the issues regarding runs.
Yeah, something didn't feel right. I don't know what it was.
Okay, well,
stepped on it by accident.
Ooh, yeah, that's never good.
Felt a little off.
Right. But either way, you managed to tough it out, you managed to pull through, and you got yourself a victory. And like I was saying before, just even having to go through that hellacious, Ice Palace, having to do it twice and then getting through all that, it was, commendable for you to actually stick it out and, finish out.
Yeah, thankfully it didn't matter too much at that point because he had already left by then. But yeah, it's tough speedrunning because one little timing error can lead to catastrophe. Like I mistimed my fire rod shot on Cold Stare, and that just messed up my whole timing. And that's why I spun too early there.
Yeah, no, I had noticed that. It's the joys of patterns, if you will.
Yeah.
And then Yeroc, I see, has also joined the race room.
Hey,
sir, I commend you for going through. I mean, I understand. Moldorm was bad enough, but then you do Moldorm, Helma, and Blind, and I am a much lesser man. I would have very much have left a long time ago. So I commend for you sticking out that long.
Thank you. I mean, first of all, GG's, Taylor. Like that was hard to go through. Like you're saying, like this game can be tough. I wanted to be after the Moldorm death, right? Like I was prepared for it to be like a bit of a slog, and then when I made it through Petting Zoo with like 2 hearts, I was like, all right, this is fine. I guess this will be okay. And then you just have to. I wasn't ready to have to like take that fight as slow as I needed to for the patterns just getting, because that Moldorm fight was just terrible.
Right.
And then the Helma, like, and then I felt like I was kind of in it still a little bit. Like I just needed to settle in and play the game a little bit and hope that, I could like basically like terminate my way through the game. Then I screwed up the bomb jump, and that kind of tilted me a little bit, and that probably caused the death to Helma's sword. Which was fine. Like at that point, I'm not like it's bad, but I'm not like super out of it. Right, like I'm in the back of my mind. I'm like, well, I have to keep playing because he can still like die to Cold Stare or something like that. Even though I didn't, I was kind of checked out, but I was like, I guess I have to keep going. And then when I died to Blind, I'm like, okay, that's too much. This is such a hard thing to come back from at this point, on top of everything else. So,
right, already starting to get out of it, and then as you guys both know, the Blind refight, if you have to do a refight, is just. That's rage-inducing alone.
Yeah, that Blind refight is so bad. So that was just the cherry on top. That was 3 strikes and I'm out, I guess.
Right, but like I said, I commend you and thank you for trying to stick out the best you could and to not like I said, just to get that far with all of those, because like I said, lesser man would have just packed it up a long time ago. But there was one thing though, I will have to check with the tape with the judges, because Taylor did, in fact, he didn't do fence dash.
Oh no.
Okay.
He didn't do fence dash, but at least from what the judges have told me, he did in fact save the run because he did hover. He did first try hover, so I think we're gonna unfortunately for you, Corey, I think we're gonna have to let that stand.
Yeah, I totally. That's a reasonable verdict, and I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, very good. So good. So we have to though wrap this up because we do have another race shortly. But I'll start with you, Corey. Do you have any last final words?
I not really, other than congrats, man. Good luck in the finals. I was hoping to get there, but sometimes we just don't have it.
All right, and then Taylor, do you have anything?
Yeah, I was actually pretty nervous coming into this. I know Yeroc has a better time than me. I was actually watching some of his runs and thought he was doing well. I was like, this is going to be a really tough race. I know I'm capable of better than my PB, and I was like, if I play well, I could win this. Anything can happen in this run, and I was kind of nervous coming into it, but happy to take the win. I'm not sure who my next opponent is, but I'm sure that's going to be equally as tough.
It's looking like Rob, unless I can figure out his tech issues.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I hate to see it kind of go down that way, but that's what it's looking like right now.
Okay. Well,
it's going to be one of those two. It's going to be one of those two. If Lance can get it figured out and they can do an async, then it'll be whoever wins. If not, it'll be Rob kind of by default.
It'll be tough regardless of who it is.
Yeah, it'll be a good race, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, again, Taylor, congratulations. Thank you for stopping by. And Corey, thank you for coming back. It's really appreciated. And I'm going to send it all back now to VXR.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Let's see. NMG races tomorrow. We've got Ray versus Relkin and Humbug versus Foxless. That's a four-way, a four-way at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we've got Matt 79 versus Ari at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I'm not sure if there's anything on Sunday. I don't see anything in our schedule. Anyway, the ZSR schedule is in the chat. We've got another four-way coming up right after this. Flip Heel versus Chimo and Casno versus Ventisi. So stay tuned for that. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll see you back here in about 15 minutes.